All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a 49er video. Pig and a Pickle, check them out. Great barbecue, maybe the best barbecue you're going to find anywhere. They're open 7 days a week in Corte Madera from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville, in the Emeryville Public Marketplace. Get the brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you and enjoy Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue you're going to find in all of Northern California. All right, the Niners active again today, and they re-signed TY McGill. He gets a one-year deal. TY McGill really surprised me last year. I mean, he was really good at times against the run, against the pass. We don't know the details on the deal, but Ian Rappaport broke the news. He says the deal includes guaranteed money in the base salary for McGill. So I think T.Y. McGill is likely to make the 53-man roster. Now, he's a 30-year-old player. He's played in a number of different spots. If you look at his bio, he's been all around the league. But last year, he appeared in the most games of his career. And the Niners used him in some games to play heavy-duty numbers of snaps. Now, he's not overly impressive physically. He's a little on the short side. He doesn't have the most incredibly put together physique, but what you'll see if you watch him play, he's a very smart football player, and he's a one gap penetrator with a lot of quickness. So he played a lot down the stretch on a playoff team and earned himself this contract. And I really think that T.Y. McGill is one of the real sleeper players for the 49ers. I mean, he really solid player for the Niners all year. He uses his quickness and his smarts. He knifes into the backfield, and he's a guy that he's built low to the ground. He's got great quickness, great get off. He's played a lot of football. So, he's a smart football player. And you look at what the Niners are right now at defensive tackle, they're in a pretty good spot. I mean, they've got Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead are their starters inside. That's the first team. You have Kevin Givens, who was re-signed, outstanding interior rusher. You still have Javon Kinlaw under contract. So theoretically, you could say Givens and Kinlaw would be your second team interior. Those guys are starter caliber players. I mean, Kinlaw had a rough end to the year, but he's enormously strong. He's a former first-round pick. Givens, I thought, played some of the best ball I've seen him play. He was a terrific undrafted free agent for the 49ers in 2019 out of Penn State, and he plays with a lot of leverage, and he's got great speed to rush the quarterback. So that's your twos. Then the threes, you have Kalia Davis, and you've got T.Y. McGill. So now that you've been able to bring back Givens, who gives you a lot as an interior rusher. Kalia Davis promises to be exactly the same kind of player. He's going to give you a lot as an interior rusher. Now you re-signed McGill, so you plugged up the inside of your defensive line. Now outside, you've got Bosa and Cleveland Farrell and Drake Jackson. We don't know if Jordan Willis is coming back yet. We don't know if Kerry Hyder's coming back yet. But we've talked about this many times in the last couple of weeks. The edge class, as far as the draft is concerned, is loaded. And there's all kinds of good players who can play defensive end on all 3 days of this upcoming draft. All 7 rounds, and maybe even after the draft, there's going to be guys who can rush the passer off the edge. Lots of good edge rushers in this draft, but the tackle market I thought was a little bit more on the thin side, at least than the defensive end market. And getting a guy like McGill, I thought last year he's really underrated player. He's smart and he's got great quickness and he's got underrated strength. And then he stayed healthy. This is another area guys go down on the defensive line. McGill stayed healthy, so. I'm sure he's grateful to get this contract. He was living out of a hotel much of the year in Santa Clara. I had a chance to talk to him on more than one occasion. And just by talking to him a little bit about what he thought, what he saw on film from the opposition, you could tell this is a veteran football player. This is the guy who shows up every day with a briefcase and, a laptop. I mean, this guy is smart, really dedicated, knows the league, good influence. And more than anything, the one thing I love about all these 49er defensive linemen is that I don't know that you can play for Chris Kocurek without having a high revving motor. And that's another thing about TY McGill that's really refreshing. Not only does he have quickness, not only does he play with leverage, and he's smart, and he knows his playbook, and he understands what he's looking at down and distance wise, formation wise. He understands the strengths and weaknesses of his opponent. But the motor, this guy just keeps coming, keeps driving those legs, keeps churning. So the 49ers get a player. We don't know the terms of the deal. I guarantee you it's going to be a very reasonable deal. But the fact that he got some guaranteed dollars in the base, in his base pay, likely means they expect him to make the roster. But already, if you say Hargrave, Armstead, Bosa, Cleveland, Farrell, let's say those are your ones, and then you got Kinlaw and Givens as your twos, with Drake Jackson, Kalia Davis, T.Y. McGill. You really have, you want to show up in camp with, let's say, 15 good defensive linemen. You have about 10 right now, that I'm looking at. So, do you need more? Yeah, you need more. And are they going to hit this in the draft? Yeah, there's no doubt. They're gonna draft some guys. And I expect Kerry Hyder and Jordan Willis maybe to come back. I don't think either of those guys is going to. Willis may get a big payday. I don't see it necessarily. I doubt Hyder would. So Hyder's got a great motor. Givens has a great motor. Willis has a great motor. Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, Drake. These guys all, Ty McGill. They all have high revving motors. And that's a big key, man, because you got to have guys who are playing hard. So overall, I like the addition of Ty McGill, just simply because it's good. There's almost for sure going to be several rookies on that defensive line, and so that means they're going to need the veterans in the room to play well, and to kind of set an example for others. And McGill is a perfect guy to fill all of those roles. And they probably got him back at a reasonable price. All right. Hope you enjoyed our 49er video on the return of T.Y. McGill. Make sure you keep it locked on the Krug Show all year long for 49er coverage and content. Hit like and subscribe. And of course, thanks to Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. Check them out in Corte Madera and in Emeryville. Open 7 days a week in Marin, Wednesday through Sunday in the East Bay there in the Emeryville Public Marketplace. So thanks to Damon, thanks to Mary, the owners of Pig and a Pickle, for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show on YouTube.